Hey everyone, Anthony here, and I'm your host for today's subject. Yes, dear viewer, today we'll be talking about the religion of science. I'm just kidding, of course. Science isn't a religion, or is it? Although you've heard of Scientology being related to scientific facts having a similar connotation because of it, none of that is true. In fact, Scientologists believe in spirits and immortal life, something science has never proven. Scientology has a bad reputation of being a sham and a cult of some sort. If you want to know more details behind the word cult, make sure to click the link at the top so you can be just a bit more knowledgeable on the matter. So, back to what we were discussing. Science isn't considered a religion because it doesn't have the characteristics of one. For example, there are no deities, no belief system, no traditions, and most importantly, it is built with the common human power called reason. Reason is a human capability of using a rational thought process to solve ethical dilemmas, math problems, logical dilemmas, and whatever else. Reason is the foundation of science because without it, we wouldn't have discovered most of our world's wonders, like algebra, trigonometry, calculus, statistics, and all the equations and theories we use to build the wonders we observe today. But reason is quite flawed. In fact, reason is kind of polyamorous. What I mean by that is that there are a lot of different ways to solve and reason for different situations. In a way, reason is used differently depending on the individual, which leaves a lot of debates and fights. I mean, we've had hundreds of philosophers find a different answer to the meaning of life with their perfect quote unquote reason. That's just how we are. Different theories and concepts are put in place to establish order in that whole mess of thought we call a debate, to try and determine which reason is more plausible than the other by majority decision. All of this is also true in the scientific community. We establish theories that define most of our experiments and calculations to better try and advance in our respective fields of study. But what the hell even is theory? I mean, are we obligated to believe in it? Well, technically, no. But if you don't, you might be looked at weird. See, a theory is our attempt to solve a scientific conundrum with rational thought, or none at all, basing ourselves on our observations, which said theories have not been proven and can be disregarded the exact moment it is contradicted by another more quote unquote logical one. Take, for example, Darwin's theory on evolution, a highly debated subject that still is questioned to this day. Although the theory is considered incomplete and still without proof, some aspects of it, like evolution, have been considered fact by a good part of the scientific community. Darwin's theory dethroned the previous one on the origin of our being. That previous theory was called Lamarckism. Lamarckism being a theory that said that our present characteristics were inherited by our ancestors. Never heard of it, huh? It's pretty crazy how fast we were to disregard it without remorse for poor Lamarck. Anyways, evolution is still a theory, since it's not unanimous. But you can choose to not believe in what Darwin said and make up your own theory to contradict his. Sure, it may not be as popular, but it's yours, and that's what matters. Now that we've touched up on the groundwork of this vast field of study, I can finally start off by saying that scientists don't know what caused our existence. Now, I might be saying, like, hello, did you forget about the Big Bang? Get a load of this guy. No, I didn't forget. The Big Bang is still a theory. Sure, a lot of evidence is pointing towards it, but it is still not fact. Stumped you, didn't I? But all jokes aside, this means that there's a lot of uncertainty in the scientific community. According to the Pew Research Center, they had conducted a survey on August 7th, 2009, where they asked members of the American Association for the Advancement of Science if they A. believed in God, B. don't believe in God, but in some sort of universal spirit or higher power, or C. don't believe in neither. Now, 7% right off the bat said that they didn't know or just didn't answer. But 41% believe in neither, which means that 51% of them believe in some sort of higher power manipulating our fate and universe. 33% being those that believe in one true God, and 18% not being relatively specific. It's really split. There are discourses and discourses on the matter that seem like they'll never stop, and they won't. Because that's what activates our little monkey brains to try and find answers to our questions. Without peer evaluation, society can never truly advance. You can check the Pew Research Center study by clicking the link in the description. With all this being said, we can finally embark on our journey to build our belief system centered around scientific facts, which we'll do on the next episode. And as always, thanks for watching.